What's up, guys? It's your boy Mike, Hawk Crypto Mining, and today I'm with the Hobbyist Miner. What's up, Hobbyist? How you been, bro?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for coming to hang out with us today.
So today, guys, we're gonna talk about all kind of things like what we're doing with our farms and what our plans are post merge and all that. So, Hobbyist, what's going on, man? What are your plans? What are you working on? Talk to me, my brother.
I like it. I like it. So yeah. So the Ethereum merge is definitely like on my mind. All miners, I think, are in that boat.
Right, right,
Big question for us is like, when's it going to be? We're banking on August, but when in August? We're almost a month out, and still no dates or anything.
right,
And then in addition to that, it's kind of the next question in our mind is like, well, what in God's name are we going to mine?
right.
Like what? Where are we shifting? Where are we shifting hash rate there? So for me in that regard, um, you're talking about the farm. My shed's coming in. I got a call today from I have an Amish company that's actually building them.
Really?
Where Pennsylvania Amish are very, very common, and
Right.
they do a lot of this stuff. And so I was like, all right, I want something custom built. So they're actually building it. I did a down payment like 5 weeks ago. They called me today, double check some stuff. They're like, hey, we'll call you next week. We'll schedule a date in the next 2 weeks. I'm like, awesome.
Nice, nice,
So that's going to be big for the farm. My mining room right now is about 105 degrees. The cards are comfortable though,
nice.
but it's rough to handle that inside your house. So
It is. It
yeah,
is.
so I'm excited. I'm excited for the shed. I it'll be my first experience stepping into mining outside my home. Truly
Awesome.
mining in a dedicated space, kind of like
Yep.
your setup. Like
Yeah.
your setup is
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I moved like lightning speed. Like I went from just a couple rigs at the house
Yep.
to I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna do this, and I just completely went balls to the wall and went right into a warehouse. And I got lucky because I found good rent, three-phase power, and somewhere right next to my house. So I got very lucky, and it's been a blessing for that. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's right now looking at like the commercial market, which is kind of like what you're into right now, renting a
right.
commercial space, which is I think awesome,
Mm-hmm.
and it works out well. And yeah, I mean your setup is like ideal. The
Right.
only other thing that would make it better is like if you had a separate garage door on the opposite side, so then you could have
Right.
intake on one side of the garage, exhaust on the other, and you create that ideal like wind tunnel.
That was a problem for me because I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna get the airflow right. You know what I'm saying? So after talking with Chump Change and Bits Be Trippin', we all kind of put our heads together and we came up with this really, really good idea. So Chump gave me the idea for the wall. He's like, dude, put your fans up high, put your intake low, and then try to move the air that way. So I was like, all right, cool. So we built it. Long story short. Then I had scheduled a consultation with Bits like a month prior. So before it was even
Okay.
like I was even building the wall. So
Yeah, yeah.
then I'm trying to remember like exactly how it went. So I'm talking to Bits. I'm just asking him a bunch of questions, which I got a lot of really good insight, guys. If you guys haven't checked out Bits Be Trippin', I'll put a link in the description below. Check him out. He's awesome. He's the OG of mining. All of us followed him.
Yep.
So definitely check him out. But I'm showing him my idea and what I'm doing, and he's like, "Oh, dude, just funnel them around." So I built these
Yeah,
funnels
smart.
and just funneling the air around the rigs, and it worked out very well, and I'm very, very excited about that.
Yeah, it's definitely smart. I mean, I'm curious to see as you expand and like move around your racking and figuring out airflow and stuff. I think that'll definitely be cool. I mean, a dedicated space is something that, as a home crypto miner, I have so many regrets of doing what I've done, like trying to mine inside your home. But the hard part is like you don't know. Like when you start crypto mining, you don't
Right,
know how extensive it's going to get. And so
right,
like yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to do all my server cases and my ASIC miner, everything like that in my shed. And it's a smaller shed. It's a 6x8 shed.
right. That's
But
not
it's
bad.
literally going to be a wind tunnel. One
Right,
entire wall is going to be gable vents, the other wall is going to be shutter fans, and my goal is literally to make it a wind tunnel. Like
right.
I want to suck the air through that thing as fast as possible. And then in my mining room that I designed and built, and it's crazy. If that room is like 5x10, it has like three
Right.
30 amp 240 volts in it alone.
That's the one you've
And
been
it
posting a
has,
lot.
yeah, yep,
Yeah, that's the
yep.
one you've
And
been
it's
posting a lot.
got, and it's got in a 5x10 room, it's got like, what is it? 60 or no, 4,800 CFM
Wow.
alone in just this little tiny 5x10
Yeah,
room.
it's like a wind
So
tunnel.
it's nutty. It is. It's crazy. And I'm learning as I go. But
We
yeah,
all
so
are.
that's kind of where we're at with the farm. And then talking about the merge, and that's a big one.
Right.
Throwing it back to you.
Big
Maybe we'll
topic.
start out with kind of what are we mining now, and then we'll talk about what we're going to mine in the next 2 months. We'll say. So, what are you mining right now?
So right now, I'm sticking to the script. The majority of all my rigs are on Ethereum, and like you said, it's very like, I mean, one of your videos you mentioned like it's such an exciting time, right? And I completely agree with you. Like it's an exciting time to, what's going to be the next big project? What's all this other one? Is it going to be Flux? Is it going to be Ergo? Is Firo going to
Yeah.
step up? Is Ethereum Classic going to step in? So I'm excited about it, but back to the topic. I'm all Ethereum right now. So
Okay.
I have one rig on Flux that's about 450 souls, and then I have another one. I'm spec mining another coin right now, which is looking pretty good, and I really like the project.
He doesn't
So,
say anything about it. He's like, I don't want to talk too much
well,
about it. I
I
don't
don't
want too
want
many
to.
people to jump on it.
Well, right. Well, it's not.
All
I,
right, Red Panda mining. All right,
yeah,
I got
right.
it. I got it. All good.
No, nah, man. Red Panda's the man, bro. I don't
But
want to
the
say
second he
anything.
talks about a coin that he's like interested in, like, I'm gonna try out this coin, and then all of a sudden, like, that pool just gets ridiculous amount, and he's like, "What the hell, guys? My hash rate, like, now the difficulty's through the roof because there's a ton of you guys on it."
Right.
Yep.
I am a little weary of
Okay.
mentioning a project right away. I've heard some stories from some other YouTubers about they endorse a project and it's like, then what? You know what I mean? Like, oh hey bro, you were doing this and now,
Seb, Seb
oh
Heslow and I were all about Ravencoin Light. Going back some time, Ravencoin Light was a project
right, right,
that dropped. It was a spin-off of the Capel algorithm,
right,
and it had some legs to it originally. And so I did a video on like how to mine it, creating the wallet, all that
right,
stuff.
right.
Seb Heslow did the same thing. We actually had a follow-up collaborative video on it, talking about like where it is now and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden they had like developer disputes and it just like
Oh,
went to hell. And all these people are like, "Well, what happened? Like you recommended Ravencoin Light." It's like, dude, I'm not your financial advisor. Like, get out of here. Like,
read the disclosure.
I made a video on how to mine a cryptocurrency. Like, don't get mad at me. You're your own person.
Right. Read the disclaimer, I mean, not disclosure. Read the disclaimer on
Yeah.
the bottom, right? But
Yep.
no,
Yep. So I'm sorry. You were saying what you were mining. So Ethereum,
yeah,
with
no.
Flux.
I have Ethereum Flux. I'm spec mining this project right now. I had a Firo rig online, but I had to take it down because I swapped everything out. I don't know if you saw my last video. I swapped
Mm-hmm.
everything out of open air rigs to Octominers, and dude, what a long day to clean all the GPUs and get it. It was like probably the longest day that I've ever had in my farm. Like, and
Okay.
I switched everything also from Simplemining, which I love, guys. Nothing against Simplemining, but
Ah,
now I'm on Hive OS with everything. So,
good for
um,
you.
yeah, I like it. It's better for the octo miners. Nothing against Simple Mining, guys. Simple Mining is a great software. Please understand it was a hard decision, but made the decision. And I was like, all right, I need to do this because it's going to be better and more efficient for my farm. And especially when you're running 5 gigahash, as you know, like efficiency is everything, especially nowadays. And I just wasn't getting that efficiency with Simple Mining. So I just
Yeah.
decided to move over. But it was a good start for me, and it really helped me understand mining in an easier way. That's why I like the software.
Nice.
Not
Nice.
bad,
I
not
like it.
bad. So what are your plans post
Ooh,
merge?
that's a good one.
What are you
That's
gonna
a good
do?
one.
What's the hobbyist gonna
Yeah.
do?
Oh man, so I'm all about diversity. I've talked about diversity on my channel 1,000 times. And so to give you an idea, like right now I got, and then I'll jump into it, Ethereum, Flux, Ethereum to getting paid out in Bitcoin,
Right,
Ethereum Classic. I got my Firo rig that I built the other day,
right,
going there. What else do I got here? I'm looking at my list here. I got one GPU, this one behind me on my test bench on Ravencoin.
right.
Just kind of,
Nice.
hey, building that wallet there. And then I got like my Bitcoin ASIC miner running. I
Sweet.
got my Dogecoin miners, my mining Dogecoin and script mining with Litecoin, and I got Starcoin going. I got Handshake going. So like I'm
You're all over.
diversifying all over the place,
Smart.
and like it's a blessing and a curse because like it's like cool. I'm into a whole bunch of different projects. I'm
Right.
well diversified. I'm getting a
Right.
little bit. So the benefit is you're getting a little bit of everything,
Right.
but you're not getting a lot of one thing.
Right.
And so as a hobbyist, it works really well for me, and I enjoy it, and it's great. It's a lot of fun. Fast forward though, over the next 2 months, that's going to be a lot of like questionability there. So like for
Yeah.
me, like right away, I know that most of my NVIDIA cards are going to go on Flex. And
Right.
then I know that most of my AMD cards are going to go on Firo. I'm not really going to put full rigs on Ravencoin at all. I mined Ravencoin for over a year on 12 470s, and now Ravencoin's 2 cents, and it's like, holy cow, like it's so far down in the dump.
Right.
So I got one GPU on it, just kind of building those wallets up there. But I haven't decided yet. So like when I can no longer do Ethereum to Bitcoin. So one, I have 2 rigs, full 12 rigs on Ethereum to Bitcoin, and 2 rigs that are straight up Ethereum.
Right.
When I can't do that anymore, that's going to be the hard one of like where I go. So I might even look at NiceHash is coming out with their own Linux operating system.
Oh, nice. I
So
didn't know that.
that's good. Now they already have one, but this is kind of going to be more of a competitor to Hive OS based off my discussions with them.
Right.
And very lightweight, easy to use, like web UI management. So I might put a few of my rigs on that because at the end of the day, then I don't care what it mines. I just get paid out in Bitcoin, which is
Right.
like awesome. Like,
Right.
and at the end of the day, in Bitcoin we trust. Like,
All
like
day.
that. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I agree, and I did forget to mention I do have ASICs as well. I have two S19 110s, although one is
Okay.
a 75 because I sent a hashboard to Bitmain like 2 months ago, and I still haven't heard back from Bitmain, and I don't know what's taking so long, but
Oh man. So is it with their like service group and stuff?
well they told me to send it to a place in New Hampshire. I think it was called
Okay.
Great Voyage or something Voyage. So I sent it
It's
there.
like a
The
third
guys,
party. Okay.
yeah, the guys were really helpful. And so I sent it to them, and they said that they send it. I guess they notify Bitmain that they have it, and then Bitmain
Okay.
will, I guess, look over it and make sure that it's in warranty, and then tell them to release me one or send me one. I don't know. I'm not
Okay.
really sure. I'm
Oh,
getting
so they do like a core mentality. So like once they confirm they get it, Bitmain will ship you out a replacement, and
right.
then you're done and you're good to go. Got it.
They were telling me a 10-day turnaround, and I'm like, guys, okay, 10 days, cool. And like that was April 23rd. So it's like I don't
Yeah.
know. And then I got one L7, and I like the L7.
Cool.
It's profitable still. I mean, it pays out a lot of Doge. It's Doge and Litecoin. And Litecoin not so much. You know, that $20 a day that it's making right now, $15 of that is Doge.
So
So
yeah.
like right
Yeah.
around there.
Isn't
So
it funny? Like I actually thought about this today. I was actually listening to Red Panda Mining's video. I don't know if you caught it, but he was going through this
yep,
article
the profitability,
from from BitPlay or BitPro, whatever it is.
right?
And it was talking about it was like the most Debbie Downer video ever. And it was just talking about how GPU mining is, but it's like I listened to that and I'm like, that's great when you're crunching numbers, but you have to remember you're dealing with a market, and a
Right,
market is unpredictable,
right,
and a
right,
market
right.
is volatile, and you really don't know what's going to exist there. So like I'm being hopeful, but what got my gears turning a lot was like, okay, that's all GPU mining. And we
Right,
keep talking about like what's going to happen with GPU mining, what's going to happen with GPU mining, but what about everything else over here that's ASIC built? So
right.
like our Dogecoin miners, our Litecoin miners, our Bitcoin miners, like handshake miners, like start like all of those. I'm like, ooh, like so it got me thinking. I'm like, I might try to like. That's why I wore my like. That's why I literally wore this HODL Litecoin shirt because I'm like, I wonder if like this is when Litecoin comes back.
I
Like when like
listen.
all of a sudden it's like, well, GPU mining's down to zero, so now we're looking at our ASIC miners and we're looking at that, and now all of a sudden Litecoin's back up to $200 some or something like that. I'm like, damn, I gotta start thinking about that.
Dude, Litecoin is awesome. Like, I don't know why a lot of people like are not adopting it. Like, it doesn't seem like its adoption rate is very high. I love Litecoin. I mean, the transaction fees are like next to nothing. It's fast. I like it. And
It's $60 right now. It's not like we're talking about
right,
$1 something.
right.
It's $60.
It's 60 bucks.
Like
It was at its height. What was its height? Its height was up to like $400 or something like that. I think. Right.
$410.26. It looks like back in May of 2021. I just brought it up real quick here.
Oh my gosh. So it really went down. But I think Litecoin has huge potential. Huge potential.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I am a Bitcoin fan. However, with that being said, I do think that Litecoin could be definitely one of those coins that is moving us into the future. I mean, I like it. I mean, you can't say the same thing about a few other projects, but I'm a big proponent of Litecoin. I like it. I wish they were a little bit more profitable, but you know that comes with everything that's going on in the market right now and stuff like that.
Yeah, now's the time to buy some of those ASICs, like your Litecoin miners and stuff
Right.
like that. I mean, that's where after this conversation, I'm going to be like, all right, let me look up some anyone selling some Litecoin miners
Right.
nearby. If I eat those up, because I mean, I have 5 Dogecoin, the gold shell. They're actually Litecoin miners that script mine Dogecoin.
Right. Right.
We kind of forget about that, don't we? Like we
Yeah.
forget it's mining Litecoin first and then script mining Dogecoin.
Yep.
But I do have a Dogecoin or a Doge Pro
Okay.
that I'm going to be setting up in the next month or so.
What's the
I'm
hash rate
excited
on
to
that?
see how that. What's that?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. What was the hash rate on that?
I don't know. I'm going to look it up right now. I don't recall. But as I look that up, so my thought pattern is like starting to look into that over the next, like, all right, like it's crazy to think like, yes, I'm looking more and more into Doge. Like, isn't that funny? Like,
It's
really, like
profitable.
Doge, like type of deal. So it looks like, taking a look here. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. 185 mega hash is what that puts at. So it's 185 mega hash, but at 233 watts.
185 mega hash at 233 watts. That's
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the regular mini Doge. I'm sorry. Let me find the other one here. Man, we're just on the fly, people. We're just doing it on the fly.
yeah.
Why not, right? Nothing's planned here. Okay, the Pro, 205 mega hash at 220 watts. So
That's really
it
good.
does more hash rate at lower wattage, actually, 13 watts less at significantly more. So so that's about 205. So what are some of your Litecoin miners at for a hash rate right now?
Well, I just have the 1L7 and it's at 9500 mega hash. So
9500 mega hash. Damn. And what does that do for wattage though?
oh man, 3450, I believe. It's a little bit more than the S19 110s.
Okay, so the L7 right here. Okay. Oh, those are nice, man. Good for you.
Yeah.
So those use 3400 watts.
Yeah, 3450.
9500
mega
or
hash.
9.5 gigahash. So it's like when I'm looking at
9.5
my
giga.
little Pro there, it's like how many Pros do I have to buy to get to that? That's a really good investment. Like kudos to you. It's making just under, well, I guess it's, what's the electric rate here? 12-cent electric rate, which is pretty much a normal right now in the United States. $19.59 a day. Damn. That's awesome.
It's profitable. I mean, when I first got it, man, it was like $47, $48 a day. And after power,
Wow.
which was really, really good. And I wish I had a crystal ball because I would have waited to buy it. Like now I would have bought it. But honestly, I'm gonna purchase another S19 really soon. Anyway, but that's where I am going to.
Wow.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy another one. So I think I'm going to move into more of ASICs and noding through this bear run than just, buying a bunch of GPUs. Because what I paid for my L7 was it was crazy. Like, I should have.
Yeah, I mean, I have an S19J Pro, and the crazy thing is with that right now only makes $12.87 a day.
Yeah.
So that's a better higher end S19J Pro. That does 104 terahash on 368 watts. And I can't wait. I'm going to bump it over to HiveOS's firmware update. It'll bump it up like 30 additional terahash.
Really?
So it'll be like 130 some. Yeah, it'll be like almost 140 terahash, which will be awesome.
Right.
And but that thing in its prime,
dude.
when we're talking in its prime there, was doing same thing, $41 a day.
Right.
$41 a day in Bitcoin. Like when Bitcoin was at its all-time high, Yeah, I did a video not too long ago, and it was doing in a month $1,200 in a month. I was like,
Wow,
holy cow! Now you
that's
could buy
insane.
that, and you ROI that in 6 months.
Yeah,
Like that's insane.
yeah.
Now ROI is a word, it's a myth. I tell our people
Well,
ROI is a myth.
well, this is my view on the whole thing. So a lot of people, and it's purely just my opinion. So, and it, guys, not financial advice, right? None of this is financial advice.
100% financial advice, people. 100%.
No. But anyway,
Take notes. Take notes.
right. So this is how I look at it. Like, let's just say you spend $100,000 on equipment, right? Whether it's ASICs,
Okay.
GPUs, whatever, right? And out of that $100,000, let's just say you're generating 5 grand a month, right? The way that I
Okay.
look at it is you're putting that $100,000 to work, right? So many people focus on, oh, when am I going to break even and when am I going to get my money back? I don't look at it
Yep.
that way. I don't look at it that way because we're buying an asset, okay, and it's generating an income, right? So I'm putting my money to work. I'm not going to worry about ROI so much. Am I maximizing my profits on these machines? You know, like if I spend 100 grand and I buy these machines, I want to know that I'm making this amount of money. So that's
Sure.
how I look at it.
Sure.
I don't look at it like, oh, when am I going to get my $100,000 back? You know,
I love this subject, by the way, because
because
I deal with this all the time. Every time I post a video that I'm using a product. So,
right,
great example. I did a Firo build just this past week. Loved doing this build
right,
with the SK mining server case.
right,
And in the comments, this is what I constantly run into as a content creator is that case is like $600. When are you going to ROI that? And I'm like, I'm not. And these people can't grasp it. They're like, what do you
no,
mean? This is a necessity
right,
to put your graphics cards in,
right,
which is your investment to make money, like to build your wallets for the future. It's like these are the necessary evils. It's the same thing. Like great example. So like Fox Crypto here, he went and spent a fortune on airflow
right.
in his mining farm. When are you going to ROI that? You're not.
You're
Like
not right,
there's not a direct path between airflow investment and your crypto at the end. There's not a direct path. These are items required in order to make that money.
right,
It is very much the necessity of like, great example. Let's put it this way. Let's say you work at McDonald's, right? Nothing wrong with that. But an example, you work at McDonald's and you need to buy yourself a pair of shoes to work at McDonald's, non-slip shoes, right? Don't know how I went with McDonald's, but here we are. So we're working at McDonald's. You're making your money. You have to buy yourself shoes, right? You don't
right,
go, when am I going to make my money back for buying those shoes? No, you need those shoes to do
right,
your job.
right.
Like
Perfect,
it's
perfect.
with anything else in life. And so that's why like I really, if you're truly jumping in feet first into the crypto mining scene, a
Right.
great recommendation, and we could go on for a while about this, is like building a business around this. So like for me, I
Yes,
expense everything under the sun
yes, sir.
because then it's like great. Then I could go ahead and take my profits minus my expenses, and that's how much I've actually gone ahead and report for taxes in that regard. So like
Right,
that's the nice thing is like my shed that I talked about the top previously. I expense my shed. It is absolutely a necessity for my mining company.
absolutely.
100% it is.
Right.
Everything I purchase is expensed. And so when you start to look at it, just like you had said, as a business, oh my gosh, it changes that ROI mentality entirely.
Well, this, yeah, and this is like, so I did the same thing. So, Paul Crypto Mining Company is a company. All right, I have an
Yep.
LLC and I have a DBA. Right, I created the business, did all that, and you write off everything. Like, and you want to talk about ROI, right? Well, your first year, okay, if you're going all in, right, and you're building everything, your whole farm, the majority of your farm in
We'll
one
be in a
year,
negative. Yep.
yeah, you're gonna be. Well, this year I'm gonna be huge in the negative. Well, guess what?
Yep.
Those are write-offs, pal. And it's what I tell everybody. Like, make it a business. Like, do file all your stuff, keep all your receipts. Like, look at like my warehouse, my rent, my electricity, everything. Everything gets written off. I mean, I got a stack of papers.
I do the
this
same
thick.
thing. Even though I mine at home,
Right.
I write off a percentage of my electric, which is
Of
like
course.
99% because I use
Right.
99% of my electric for here. Same thing with my internet. Same thing there. Like
Yeah,
all of those things are
everything.
encompassing there. It's just being a smart business person.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, it absolutely is. And so like that's really what I struggle with when we talk about with ROI, and it's just the sheer factor of there are things like talking about ROI too. Go to another tangent is like people cheap out a ton on the supporting hardware
Oh,
for their
dude.
mining rigs.
Dude.
So when people are
Oh,
looking at
yeah.
like server cases or octo miners, and this isn't me pumping up octo miners because like guess what? I got octo miners, I got polo miners, I got SK miners, I got all those miners.
Right.
People cheap out on them. And guess what? I understand. You go back to my early videos 2 years ago, I'm literally stripping down HP computers, screwing them to pieces of plywood, and building mobile computers. So
Right.
for $50, I went out, I stripped it down, built it onto a piece of plywood. I got the idea from Bitsby Trippin. If you go out and watch Bitsby Trippin's earlier videos, awesome idea. He had a warehouse, full warehouse of this, and every computer was on a piece of plywood. It made it super mobile. He stripped them out. He built them on these. Now he was using actually legit like mining rig parts and stuff, but I followed it. I built it all. Power supplies on there, everything, so that I could work on that. I could pull it out, work on it, and that's why he did it. Put it back in, stuff like that.
That's interesting.
But I started there. So when people look at us as content creators, whatever, dude, I'm just like anybody else. It's
Right.
like I started there. Like I started with $50 mining rig setups, and then got to where I am now. But why did I move to it? It wasn't because I made more money. It was because I saw the value in better mining hardware, reliability, sustainability. Because at the end of the day, your profits come down to uptime, not
Right.
downtime.
Right.
And I had
Right.
a ton of downtime on that cheap hardware. And that's what I got away with when I first started. So it's like, man, between ROI and between spending money on supporting hardware,
Right.
oh, it's crazy.
I can't I agree with you. And another thing that I really don't like is, and I've learned the hard way when I tell you I've learned the hard way. So, and in full disclosure, guys, so I'm about $200,000 into my entire project, right? That's just
Yep.
about. And
Yep.
I would say about $30,000 of that was hard lessons. Like stuff I didn't need to buy, wasted equipment, like all kinds of stuff. So a wise person told me when I started mining, don't buy cheap, like you said, supporting gear like risers
Yeah.
and all that stuff
Yep.
because. And I remember watching like Seb Heslow's videos. I watched yours. I watched.
You liar. You liar.
No, I
Don't say
swear to God, I swear, bro. Come on, bro. I was watching you. I was watching Seb Heslow. I was watching Red Fox. I watched Son of a Tech and a few others. And I was Voscoin too, and a lot of his early stuff. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
especially like Seb Heslow, he preached like don't buy like cheap risers and cheap cables. Don't power this with this. And I got to tell you, like, here's a funny story. So one night, I'm at work at my family's business, and it's slow, so I'm just watching videos because now I'm learning, right? So I took 3 months. I really studied mining. I wanted to get into it.
Smart man. Smart
Right.
man.
So I'm like, and now, mind you, I got one rig of all 3070 Ti's running right now, right? So
That's
Seb
legit though. That's legit right there.
Right, at one time, all EVGAs, really good cards, didn't run too hot. So I'm watching this video, and Seb is like, make sure you power your riser and your GPU on the same PSU.
Yes, correct. You don't want to split it.
Right. Well, know that now. Let me tell you something. I never drove home so fast because I had the GPUs on one and I had the risers on the other. And I went,
Good job,
oh
Steph.
no.
Good job.
Yeah, and I'm like, so I panicked, dude. I unplugged everything off the wall. I was like, oh my God, I gotta rewire all of this. I had some painful lessons, but you know what? It was for the better, and it taught me a lot. Now, and this is what I tell people too, like, nothing against any of these companies that make pre-made rigs. Nothing against them. They're making money.
Sure.
They're good if you want to get in and you don't want to get involved in the technical side. But if you really want to learn mining, right? Start from scratch, go through the hurdles. Like now that I'm all Octominers, it's a little bit easier. But when my open air rigs, when something went wrong, I knew exactly what to fix. And it's just my advice to new miners. So quality,
Yeah, it's smart.
quality parts.
It's crazy the way you go. Like, you know, where you start out and then where you, and unfortunately the only way to do is to learn. And
Hmm.
I'm glad you brought that up. And I think it's our audience will enjoy the fact of talking about like how we initially got started. And
Right.
it's really funny. So I made gaming content for like 8 to 9 years, and then I gave it up a few years ago. And I was like, I'm done. I'm stepping away. I'm good.
Yeah.
And a buddy of mine was moving, and he was like, "Hey, do you want this stuff?" And it was I didn't know what it was then. This was probably 3, 4 years ago. It was a Veta frame, 6 GPU Veta frame,
Okay.
a B250 mining motherboard, so full B250,
Right.
which those are the ones that support a bazillion GPUs, and
Right.
then 6 risers. And he's like, "This is for crypto mining." Like he was involved early on, like
Right.
7 years ago. Like going back, he got into it early,
Right.
and he was like, "Do you want this stuff? I'm moving." And I'm like, "I want to get into crypto mining, but I have no clue where to start." And this was years ago, so I put it in my basement, and then during that time period after gaming, it's like, what do I do with myself? Like, I want to come up with a hobby, like type of deal. And I was like, I'm going to start to look into crypto mining. So I started to look into it. And at that time, my wife and I sold our home. We moved in with my mother-in-law because we were between homes. Like
Right.
the one home like needed to sell, and our next house we were waiting to get into. And the people we were buying it from, they kept putting it off. So now we were like screwed. So we lived with my mother-in-law for like 5 months. And so like I couldn't do anything from like content creation. I couldn't
Right.
build anything. So all I did, just like you, I watched YouTube videos.
Right.
And don't tell Red Panda Mining, but I watched so many of his videos to learn like what is this crap that I have. And I learned
Right.
like I have a B250. It's like the holy grail next to the H110. It's
Right.
like these things are awesome. And I just learned and learned and learned and learned and just tried to understand it. So then my first video, people go back on my channel, first 3 videos, ready? First video is me with an iPhone 6 SE holding it, no microphone, nothing, just the microphone and the thing on this mining frame with the motherboard and the risers, and me telling people I'm going to start mining.
That's
That was my
awesome.
first video.
How it
Like,
starts.
first video. And then then 3 videos later, I bought an MSI 970. I owned it for a week. It did 5 mega hash on Ravencoin. And I was like, God, I'm loving this. This is insane. And then I was hooked, and it was done. It
Yeah.
was done. The
You go
next thing
down
I
the
did
rabbit
was I
hole.
bought 12 470s. I went from like a 970 to 12 470s,
Right.
which was crazy. But what about you? Like you talked about, so like when you first got into it, before you had your 3070s, how did you just get into it? Like how did you step into that space before you even were mining?
Okay. So my first cards weren't the 3070s. That was just the rig that was wired discombobulated. My first cards were the 3060s, MSI 3060s. And well, obviously now with the LHR unlock, hindsight's
But
2020, but you
but
know,
at that time they were probably V2s, right?
they are V2s, and it was
Okay.
January of this year. And I remember I started January of this year. So like
Okay.
I'm barely 6 months into this, mining thing. So being a part of the community and everything, and but I started with 6 3060s and then the 2 3070 Ti's. And dude,
Okay.
I remember like just putting the rig together in my living room and just being happy to start the BIOS. Like I'm like, oh cool, I'm almost there. Like, I'm just like looking back, I'm like, oh my god, like I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. But that's where I started. So, and I'll be honest with you, it was a little intimidating at first because it's like, okay, like I've always been computer savvy. Like I can put together a computer and all that other stuff. I know that, the basics and nomenclature to a lot of stuff, but what am I doing here? Like with all this stuff, like, so like I have to buy graphics cards. Like, so that's how I started. So I ended up,
Okay.
I had the rig started like running mining on the living room table. Now,
Okay.
which didn't look really, I mean, the RGB lights were cool at night when you turn all the lights off, but like, being a single guy, I really didn't have anybody really to tell me to take it off. So I left it there for a while.
Yeah.
And that's how I started. And then, one thing just led to another. Like, all right, cool, I can buy more GPUs.
Mhm.
So this is what I'm going to get. I started watching like Seb's video, and I was like, he's like, he did this video where he did like a list, like an Excel
So
spreadsheet.
were you in Windows? Like, did you start with Windows mining to start with?
No,
Because I know like Seb
no,
was like super thing. And by the way, you said Seb Haslow does Excel like lists.
yeah,
That's like every video. Like,
hmm,
every video is
right.
extensive Excel spreadsheets.
No, I actually, so I was on Telegram and I was talking with this dude on Telegram about, mining, asking questions. And he's the one that introduced me to simple mining. And
Okay, got it.
honestly, I started on simple mining like first thing. Like
Okay.
the first, I didn't do Windows, nothing. Just jumped on simple mining, learned how to flash and do all that, which is all new to me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's how I started. And you know, and again, guys, I really, really like simple mining. I'm not against it, but when you start to move, I think forward, like they don't have a lot of integration with Octominer, so that's why I had to switch over because right now it's all about efficiency, and if I can pull out
Yep.
efficiency, that's definitely where I want to be. So that's how I started. I
Yeah.
mean, I remember staying up late at night. I had a notebook, pen. I'm writing things
Nice.
down. I'm looking at Seb Heslow's Excel spread. All right, cool. So if I get a 2080 Ti, I can start mining Flux. If I buy that, like I'm just going through the whole thing. And I was actually
Yep.
I was the first coin I ever mined was Flux. It was 340,
Really?
340
Wow.
mega hash. And I'm like, all right, cool. I like this project. I'm gonna do it. And then at the time, it's not as profitable as Ethereum. And then I
Yeah,
moved
yeah.
to Ethereum. But I'm a major Flux fan, by the way. But so
That's awesome.
that's how I started.
That's sweet though. Isn't it funny though, like how I think a lot of people are in that boat, which is like I think it's like how we become content creators too. It's like
Right.
you start out and you're interested in it. So where's your first place you go? YouTube.
Of
And
course.
then, there's so much content on GPU mining in the YouTube space. And there's so much to absorb and so much to learn, like even me, like I am it's funny, like I still consider myself like the new guy.
Yeah.
Like I've
Well,
been in the
bro,
scene for
really?
under 2 years, and I'm like, I'm the new guy. But then you
Oh,
got somebody like yourself, like you're the newer new guy.
right.
Like, it's
Right.
how that works.
Oh,
Which is so cool. Like, and that's why, like for me, like I just love talking about that stuff and hanging out with people like you and just chatting about it because like
yeah.
you have that passion, and I remember that. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I love that. I love it.
I got the engine, man. I got the engine, and I just when I'm interested in something, I just like, and that's where the name Hawk came from. So and my mom and my grandmother always said to me like, when you focus on something, you really put your head to it. So like I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
you dive into it like a hawk. That was just kind of where I got it. And I was like, all right, I kind of like this name. Let me look into it, and it just stuck. Honestly, I didn't know
It
what
makes a
I
good
was gonna call
logo.
it.
It makes a good logo, so you're good,
It makes a great logo. Yes. Yeah. How did you come up with the hobbyist miner? Is it just
So funny. So I was watching like Red Panda, as I said a lot then. When I first started, it was Red Panda, Red Fox Crypto,
right?
Son of a Tech, Voscoin, Bitsby tripping a lot, in that regard. And I was like, all right, cool. I want to do this like YouTube stuff. So I was very similar. But what I did was at the same time as I was learning, I was also analyzing like what works as content creator in the mining space.
Right.
And that's actually why my first year I didn't show my face because I was like, all right, cool. So Red Panda Mining is doing this cool idea of like not showing your face. And I actually really like that. Like, and then forces your audience to focus on your content.
Mm-hmm.
Like they judge you off of your content because I always told people like we judge someone off the first 30 seconds of looking at them.
Right.
We've already decided if we like them and don't like them.
Right.
So I was like, great. And maybe that's what helped in my success. Like 3 months in, 5K subs. Maybe that's what
Wow.
it was. Like maybe Red Panda had some secret sauce there. But I was like, I like that idea. Let me go with it. And so I was like, I'm just going to point and click and I'm just going to go along that journey. And so I watched a lot, what worked, what didn't, and then I spent a ton of time researching YouTube algorithm and like how
Right.
does it work? What does it look for? What do I need to have? So I was like, all right, I need something that has miner in the name because like YouTube's algorithm, like that is one thing that could be taken into account.
Of course.
So I was like, oh man, it's like, well, what do I use here? I'm like, I'm a hobbyist. Like, I'm coming into it as a hobbyist. So I'm like,
Right.
shit, I'm a hobbyist miner. Let's do it. All right,
That
cool.
works. Yeah.
But
There you
then it's
go.
like, That's like, what in the world do you do for a logo, you
Oh
know?
yeah.
And I'm like, man, like, what do I do here? And I was like, I'm thinking miner, 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 and I'm it didn't even like come to my head like an actual miner, like Bitcoin miner. You see with like a construction hat on with like a pickaxe and stuff. That
Right.
didn't even come to mind, and I don't know why. I instantly went to like a garden gnome with like a shovel type of deal. And I was like, all right,
Yeah.
cool, let's roll with it.
It
So
works.
I hired a designer off of Fiverr, and I was like, this is what I'm thinking. And they came back and I was like, damn, this works. And especially with not showing my face and having like a logo with like a guy with a beard and stuff like that. I remember like when I first showed my face and people were just like nowhere near what I expected. Like no one ever thought that. Like my first video where I showed my face was I had planned it out with Red Fox Crypto. I'd been to his house. He lives about a few hours from me, and I bought some GPUs from him and stuff. And I was like, all right, we're gonna do a meet the miner, but I'm gonna be the one getting interviewed, and that's how we're gonna show my face. So we're just gonna drop it like that, and that's exactly what we did. And that was the coolest video I've ever done.
Yeah.
Coolest video I've ever done is literally sitting at a tabletop on a bench, like or on stools with a beer at like 11 o'clock in the morning. It's 95 degrees in his basement, and him and I are talking about just like he just hit me up Q&A. I loved it. It was so much fun.
That's awesome, man. I
Yeah.
think we're all gonna throw a party for the day Red Panda decides to reveal himself.
Oh,
So
100%.
yeah.
100%. He's never going to. It's his secret sauce.
I
He's
was
like it's his absolute secret sauce. Now he can't. He can't
Yeah, he
even go
can't.
back on it.
He can't. I was talking to him the other night, and he's just. I asked him. I said, you ever gonna reveal who you are?" And he's like, "I don't know, man. You know, I don't know." And I said, "Well, if you do, please let me know because I want to start placing bets on what you look
Yeah,
like
right.
with everybody. Like, does he
That's
have
right.
this color eyes? Does he have this color hair? Like, get
Right.
everybody together and be like, all right, cool. I'll put $5 down on green eyes. I'll put $5 down here." Just to make it funny,
uh
but he's an awesome
yeah,
guy. He really is. I got to know him, and he's really cool, man. He helps me out with a lot of things. So does Chump Change.
that's cool.
Chump Change is great. Chump Change XD. I mean, he's great, man. The whole community is great, dude. Like, even like I was setting up this Flux node the other day, and Yeti like just completely went out of his way to help me. Like, stayed on Discord chat with me for like 5 hours while we got this whole thing going, and
Wow.
just the support, man, it's just awesome. It's what I love about this community, and never in my life have I ever experienced this level of support, amongst a group of people. So for me, that sold me on it. I'll be a miner forever, and that's just what I believe, man.
Well, it's
So,
funny because like a whole bunch of us are all like content creators, right? And we're
right,
like, all right, cool, like this is fun, but like there's no competition there. We're always looking to help out each other and stuff
right,
like that. And I
right.
think that's what's worked out well. And like I told you the other night, it's like, man, when I first got started, like getting shout outs from like Red Fox Crypto or from Red Panda or from Son of a Tech, like that was huge. And like them, you know, introducing audiences to me was huge, and I was all for it. And it was crazy. And that's what like I was telling you the other night. It's like I absolutely just wanted to pass that on
Right.
because it's like so many people helped me out when I got started. So it's like, all right, how can I help you? Like, tell me what you need. I'm here to help.
And I can't believe it because I guess we kind of get into this understanding like, oh, here's a guy with 200,000
Sure.
subs, like, he
Yep.
probably gets hit up all the time and people asking him for help, but then
Yeah.
then you ask, and then it's like, oh yeah, man, no problem, I'll help you out. I'm like, really? Like,
Yeah.
seriously?
You're
Like, no,
kind of
like,
shocked.
yeah, you get like a shock, and I'm just like, now I've always been, I was in law enforcement. Well, I still am. I've been in law enforcement now 8 years, and now I'm part time, family reasons and stuff, and all that good stuff. But you know, helping people was always like my thing, and that's one of the reasons why I
Yeah.
became a police officer. So like, and you don't get a lot of it back in that community. We could talk about that another time, but you don't get a lot of it back, right?
Sure.
But
Sure.
but when I got it back in this community, I was like, dude, thanks. Like, I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
completely like people going above and beyond for each other. Like one guy that really went out of his way for me was Chump Change XD. Like, he put me on Misfit Mining, gave me my own channel, like talks to me every day. I mean, what a great dude. Like, And then, you know, you get to meet Red
Cool.
Panda, and then, you know, I've talked with Red Fox a couple times now, and a lot of I've talked with Bits Be Trippin' now, and like a bunch of big guys, and I'm just like, dude, this is awesome. Like these are the same guys I was watching to learn, and now it's like I feel like accepted as an equal. So that's what I love about the
Yeah.
community. And I tell people that are just getting into mining, even on my channel, and you know, I'm only 570 subs, but still, like people hit me up.
571 after this video.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
571 after this.
Absolutely. And somebody hit me up recently, like, hey, bro, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So I said, hey, hit me up on Discord and I'll help you out. And I've been chatting with the same dude for a couple weeks and just helping him get set up and just paying it forward is how I believe we grow the community. Because if you think about it, for how big crypto mining is, our community is not that big. And it's going to get bigger. So, you know, having everybody together, it's just, it's awesome. And we all working together because there's no, like you said, no competition, right? You know, if I succeed, you succeed. Like we're not trying. It's not like we're selling products or anything like that. Like we're making content. We're promoting each other. We're promoting the space. More adoption is good for everybody, right? So it's good all the way around. That's how I see it.
I agree, 100%, 100%.
But dude, this was awesome, man. Thank you so much for you know, doing the interview with me, man. You know, meet the miner, the hobbyist, dude. I can't believe it. Like here I am 6 months ago watching your videos, and now I got you on my channel, man. It's just awesome. So,
Hey,
but
hey, hey! As I tell other people, I'm just another John Smith. Like like I'm just like everybody else. No different at all.
right. So that's great, man. I really, really do appreciate it. So guys, hit up the hobbyist miner. He's great. Love him to death. Helps me out. Get him on Discord. Check out his YouTube. I appreciate it. If you guys hit that like and subscribe button, it helps us out. Have a great night. I'm Hawk Crypto, and I will see you guys later. Peace.
Peace.